So as fall approaches, you may have plants in containers or even in the ground that you would like to overwinter. We're doing a new video series called Growing Indoors with the Eco Garden House, and what it is, the Eco Garden House is an all-inclusive grow tent greenhouse, indoor greenhouse that you can put in a side room, basement, that has an irrigation system, ventilation, as well as lights of all spectrum, so you can grow year-round. And we're going to take at least this eggplant here, we might take a pepper plant as well, and overwinter it in the Eco Garden House. It's just like it's a tropical climate or midsummer in the Eco Garden House. So if you're doing this and you want to overwinter and you don't have an Eco Garden House to put them in, you can do the same procedure and put them next to a sunny window or under a grow light of some sort. But this is what we're going to do here with overwintering an eggplant. We've got it in a plastic root maker container. Air prunes the roots. You can see some of them coming out here. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove it out of this container. And the reason why we just don't take this container, bring it inside, set it by a window, or put it in the Eco Garden House is because this soil has been outside all summer long, and there is all kinds of insects, good and bad, in this soil. And if we just bring it in, they're going to go in the Eco Garden House, they're going to go in the house. So we want to get rid of this soil first. So we want to, oh my, okay. So we want to try to knock off as much of this soil from the roots as possible. This may take some time, so you want to do it right. You want to take your time, loosen the soil up, and get it knocked off of the root ball. Okay, so I got most of the dirt off. Now, you could take this and dunk this in a bucket of water and be really precise about it, but I want to just get the majority of the large clumps of dirt off and try to get up in there and try to get some of this other dirt that's in some of the roots. So right there, that's fine by me because we've got most of the roots off, got a good root structure on this eggplant. So what I'm going to do here, set that down, just going to take this soil, which is good, and toss it in the garden. Now, you can take, and we're going to reuse this container, or you can take another container and fill it up with potting soil and go that route. What we're going to do is we're going to use some professional potting soil from Seed Growing Supply. I'm going to put a little at the bottom, have a base. There's my scooper there. Okay. And you can see this is good. This has got slow release fertilizer. It's got some perlite, vermiculite in it, some certified leaf compost, some peat moss. So it's going to give the plant, the eggplant, what it needs. So I'm just going to do a little bit at the bottom. And then I'm going to take my eggplant and I am going to bury the stem slightly, not much. Try to get it back in the same position as it was. And again, this is good, clean soil potting mix that's going to really reduce the amount of potential insects that are going to be introduced inside. All right. Now with planting this, just like you would a plant at the nursery that you buy or start, I want to kind of fluff the roots out so they're not all in like one clump. So I'm going to spread them out a little bit here. And then pour more soil on it. All right. Do want to pack it down, make sure we get all the air pockets out of it. And we'll top it off, and then we'll do a little trimming of some of the leaves and here to help the plant out. All right. If you'd like to see the series on growing in the Eco Garden House, in the show notes we'll have the playlist of all that we have currently put out on that particular video series. Okay, so now firm it down. Now we want to look at the plant here itself. We do have a leaf here. It's got some damage, a little droopy, a little discolored. I'm just going to take and trim that off. It's not going to hurt the plant, just going to get rid of that. I've got another one here. This is trimming this back just slightly. Now we do have several clusters of flowers here that are going to open up. So we'll keep that in mind. And at the bottom here, I'm just going to trim off some of this yellow stuff here. And it looks pretty good. Trim some more off at the bottom. And we've repotted it. Now it's time to take it in the Eco Garden House. So we've brought our eggplant in. Since we've brought it in and repotted it, we've got some flowers here, so that's a good sign. Now, eggplant is a self-pollinator, which means it will pollinate itself. We don't need pollinators to pollinate it, so that's an advantage putting in the Eco Garden House. This here is the Eco Garden House, an all-inclusive indoor grow room, greenhouse. Just going to open this up here. We've already got a number of things planted in here. We've got tomatoes, lettuce, radishes, basil, peppers planted. So what we'll do here, this is a seed tray start that I'm working on. I'm going to put the eggplant over here. Now, what you can do, we remove the soil from outside that was setting outside. We put in good professional potting soil from Sioux Growing Supply. You can also take and flip your plants upside down before you repot it and blast it with water to make sure there's no insects. We've checked that. We didn't have to go with that route, but that'll work well. Now we're just going to slide in here and kind of watch the light. We'll have to raise and lower the light with the crank, but we can have eggplant all winter long, and then come the spring, we can just simply bring that back out, harden it off, get it acclimated to the outdoor temperature, and we've already got an eggplant ready to go and producing well before the starts would even have a chance to go in the ground. So if you're not familiar with the Eco Garden House, that link of that growing series is in the show notes below. So in overwintering, now if you don't have an Eco Garden House, you could put this in a basement window or a 3-season porch, something like that. You would, if you don't want fruit production, you would want to keep it damp or on the drier side so it can kind of go into dormancy, and that will work on peppers as well.
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.